A traumatic injury after a golf cart rollover crash. A villager was jailed after a threat for an unwanted visit to return. A villager's son with multiple DUIs arrested after multiple 911 calls. A village's couple in their 80s was struck by a car as they were walking through a roundabout. A villager was arrested for failure to return a rental car. Villager allegedly pulls gun on wife for kissing another man 20 years ago. Last-minute recalculation of amenities, sale a $9 million gain for the developer. Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members. Welcome everybody to the Villages News Updated, and thank you for coming and watching. Let's have some more news. A couple in their 80s were injured when they were struck by a car while walking into a roundabout in the Villages. The couple, who are 80 and 81 and reside in the village of Liberty Park, were walking shortly before noon Monday in a roundabout at Buena Vista Boulevard and Odell Circle, according to the accident report from the Florida Highway Patrol. The couple was walking from west to east in the roundabout and were crossing improperly, the report noted. When they were in the roundabout, they were hit by a blue 2018 Honda Fit four-door driven by an 82-year-old woman, also a resident of the village of Liberty Park. She entered the roundabout traveling north when her car hit the two pedestrians. The husband and wife were transported by ambulance to Ocala Regional Medical Center. Another couple who lives in the Villages witnessed the accident and shared their account with the Highway Patrol investigator. The investigation into the accident closed down that portion of the roadway for part of Monday. A pedestrian was hit and killed earlier this year at Lake Sumter Landing. I know, a lot of questions are going to pop up here, a lot of comments going to pop up here, and I'm going to answer two of them real quick because I can hear you talking. I don't know what they're doing walking in a roundabout. I don't know any place where you're supposed to be walking in a roundabout to start with. That being said, they go to Ocala because we do not have a trauma center here in the Villages. That's where everybody will go. A country club in the Villages has been cited for 2 high-priority violations during an inspection. An inspector paid a visit Friday to the Havana Country Club and found improper storage of raw animal food, according to a report on file with the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulations. There was a ban of raw bacon stored on a shelf oversoft in a reach-in cooler. In addition, the inspector found raw chicken stored over raw shrimp in a reach-in drawer cooler. There were also problems with improper storage of toxic chemicals. The inspector found eye cleaning solution on a shelf over seasonings. There were also spray bottles hanging on a rack next to bottles of liquor at the bar. In addition, the employee training food safety certificate had expired, and an employee had improperly stored her purse on a shelf over gloves at the bar. And the same people that have the restaurant at the Havana Country Club are the same people that has Johnny Rockets hot dogs at Lake Sumter Landing. A Village of St. James woman was arrested after paying an unwanted visit to a home in
Florida's friendliest hometown.
Lynette Klein, 52, who lives in the Fairwinds Villas in the Village of St. James, began making suspicious calls to a homeowner at an undisclosed location on Saturday night, according to a report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A deputy made contact with Klein, who said she was going to drive her silver 2015 GMC Terrain to that home. The deputy made it clear to Klein that she was not welcome at the residence. Despite the deputy's warning, she drove to the home, prompting the homeowner to call 911. Deputies arrived and found Klein's vehicle backed into the driveway at the home. She disregarded commands from the deputies and proceeded to the residence. Deputies attempted to take her into custody, but she pulled away and would not cooperate. She was arrested on charges of trespassing and resisting arrest. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $1,500 bond. I don't know. A traumatic injury was reported after a golf cart rollover crash in the Villages. The accident occurred at about 3 p.m. Monday on a multimodal path in the vicinity of Buena Vista Boulevard and St. Charles Place, not far from the entrance to the Village of St. James. The Village Public Safety Department confirmed that one person was transported as a trauma alert to Ocala Regional Medical Center. The Florida Highway Patrol has been called to investigate the crash. A villager was arrested at a local restaurant with a rental car he failed to return. Brian Elmer Braun, 57, who lives at 449 Timmonsville Way in the village of Mallory Square, was arrested with a black Chevrolet Tracker with Alabama license plates on Friday at the Oakwood Smokehouse restaurant in Wildwood, according to a arrest report from Wildwood Police Department. Best smoked ribs around. The vehicle had been rented through the Enterprise Rental Office in Ocala and had been due back on November 25th. The car had been reported stolen when Braun failed to return it. The manager said the Illinois native had been dodging calls from Enterprise. He was also sent a letter informing him the car needed to be returned. He and his wife were leaving Oakwood Smokehouse when they were approached by a police officer. Braun was arrested on a felony charge of theft and booked on a $2,500 bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. Braun was arrested earlier this year after attempting to flee from law enforcement officer. He was arrested in 2023 in connection with a domestic altercation. I sometimes wonder what these people are thinking. Do they actually think that they could just drive around in a car and they'll just forget about it? The son of a couple in the Villages was arrested after a 911 call reported seeing an intoxicated driver at a Walmart gas station. Tyler Gentry McKee, 34, who lives with his parents in the village of Chitty Chatty, appeared to be under the influence when he was spotted early Sunday morning at the Walmart gas station at Sarasota Plaza, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A deputy found McKee in the driver's seat of a Ford F-250 truck, which was parked with the engine running. When McKee stepped out of the truck at the deputy's request, he was unable to maintain his balance and stumbled to the rear of the truck. McKee was unable to form a grammatical sentence. McKee offered to park his truck and have someone come and retrieve it later. McKee also argued that his truck was parked and not in operation when he was approached by the deputy. McKee refused to participate in field sobriety exercises and would not provide a breath sample. A criminal history check revealed 4 previous drunk driving convictions in Kansas. The arrest report noted that McKee is currently on felony probation. He was arrested on charges of driving under the influence and refusal to submit to a breath test. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $3,000 bond. Mom and Dad, what are you doing? All you're doing is you're giving this guy nothing but encouragement to continue this bad behavior, and you're helping him do it. A villager allegedly pulled a gun on his wife after accusing her of infidelity. Michael John Fahey, 67, was arrested Tuesday at his home in the village of DeSoto. Fahey had been drinking when he began making accusations of infidelity against his wife of more than 30 years, according to the arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. Specifically, he accused her of cheating on him in an incident more than 20 years ago when his wife was accused of kissing another man. Fahey briefly left the home but soon returned. He took a chair from the dining room and used it as a stepping stool to retrieve a Sig Sauer firearm case from atop of kitchen cabinets. He removed the gun from the case and pointed it at his wife. "This isn't good enough for you. Try this," Fahey told his wife. She announced she was going to call the police. "Go ahead," he told her. She told police she was scared to death. She and her husband purchased their home in the Villages in 2019. He was arrested on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where he was initially held without bond. Here's a saying from an old movie. This is for the young lady. "Run, Forrest, run." Listen up, everybody down there in Districts 12 and 13. A last-minute recalculation in the sale of amenities south of State Road 44 has provided a more than a $9 million gain for the developer. The Sumter Landing Community Development District Board agreed to revise price during a meeting this past week at a district office at Lake Sumter Landing. The board had agreed in October to hire PFM Consulting to determine a price for the amenities located in Community Development Districts 12 and 13. CDD 12 includes the villages of Finney, DeLuna, DeSoto, Linden, Monarch Grove. CDD 13 includes the villages of Bradford, Cajun Hammock, Chitty Chatty, Citrus Grove, Hawkins, Richmond, St. Catherine, and St. John's. The recreation facilities to be purchased using residents' amenity money, including 5 executive golf courses, 28 swimming pools, recreation centers, pitch and putt courses, softball fields, and dog parks. The preliminary value had been calculated to be $246.49 million. However, it was later discovered that there had been an error in the calculations of the units to be included. Therefore, the new price is $255.8 million. The purchase will be financed with bonds to be paid off by residents paying amenity fees south of County Road 466. The sale is expected to close in February. There you go. After February, those amenities and all other amenities down there are being sold back to your district, and from that point on, you guys will be responsible for all maintenance, repairs, cleaning, whatever. It's your baby. An unlicensed driver from Honduras was arrested after he was caught speeding nearly 20 miles an hour over the speed limit on US 301 in Oxford. Carlos Daniel Garay Ramirez, 27, of Kissimmee, was driving southbound shortly before 8 p.m. Monday when he was caught on radar traveling at 64 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. During a traffic stop, Garay Ramirez handed the deputy a Honduran identification card. He admitted he has been in the United States for 3 years and has not obtained a driver's license. Well, if you've been here 3 years legally, why don't you have a driver's license? That'd be my question. He was arrested on a charge of driving without a license and ticketed for speeding. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $150 bond. You'll never see that person again. A license plate was seized from a vehicle operated by a repeat driving offender from Mexico. Jose Alfonso Garcia Marino, 25, of Summerfield, was driving a red Ford passenger vehicle at 8:40 a.m. Monday in the area of US 301 and the Florida Turnpike when an officer ran the license plate and discovered the vehicle's registered owner did not have a valid driver's license, according to an arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. During the traffic stop, Garcia Marino handed the officer a Mexican passport. He had, you know what? If a cop ever, I'm going to start carrying my passport in my car, and if a cop ever pulls me over, I'm just going to hand him my American passport and see what he says. He had also been issued a Florida identification card after previous traffic arrests for driving without a license. He was convicted of driving without a license in April 2023 and again in August 2024. The officer also learned a seized tag order had been issued for the vehicle's license plate. The native of Bacayacan, Mexico, was arrested on a charge of driving without a license and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. Bond was set at $500. An unlicensed driver from Venezuela was arrested after he was caught operating a vehicle without headlights. Carlos Carinos Alvarez, 24, of Orlando, was driving a silver Honda Pilot at about 10:30 p.m. Tuesday on US 301 when an officer noticed the vehicle did not have its headlights illuminated. During a traffic stop, the Venezuelan native admitted he does not have a driver's license issued in the United States. He was arrested on a charge of driving without a license and issued a written warning for entering a roadway with no headlights activated. He was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. Bond was set at $500. His vehicle was towed from the scene. Thank you. First time I've heard anybody say anything about that. A motorcyclist suffered a leg injury after crashing a stolen bike in a roundabout in the Villages. Jonathan Robert McMillan, 37, of Wildwood, was treated at the UF Health Emergency Clinic at Brownwood after crashing the stolen motorcycle at about 3:30 p.m. Tuesday in a roundabout after being pursued on Marshman Trail by an officer with the Wildwood Police Department. I gotta say one thing about Wildwood Police Department down there. They're Johnny on the spot. The officer had been monitoring traffic in the area of Marshman Trail and Central Parkway when he noticed McMillan was riding a motorcycle but did not have required vision protection. The officer activated his emergency lights and began following the motorcycle, which did not stop. The officer chirped the motorcycle, but McMillan looked back and accelerated rather than stopping. The officer deactivated his lights and continued following the motorcycle. McMillan hit a curb in the roundabout at McNeil Drive and laid down the motorcycle in the roundabout. The Indian motorcycle had been reported stolen in Lake County. It had a license plate that had been assigned to a 2014 Ataya scooter. The officer found that McMillan's license had been revoked and has been classified as a habitual offender. He was also wanted on a Lake County warrant, probably failure to appear. McMillan complained of a leg injury and was taken to Brownwood ER Clinic. After he was medically cleared, he was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on charges of grand theft of a motorcycle, driving while license suspended, and fleeing law enforcement with a disregard for public safety. Well, they don't care about the public. I've seen that face before. He's been arrested here before. Here's another report from
Florida's friendliest hometown.
A woman was arrested after law enforcement was called in the wee hours to a home in the Villages. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies were called to investigate a report of a domestic disturbance shortly before 4 a.m. Wednesday in the village of Mallory Square. A man claimed he had been attacked by 49-year-old Lucia Ann Braun, with whom he resides. He said Braun had accused him of being in possession of drugs. He said the Illinois native struck him several times and threw a lamp and metal cups at him. The man said he had to kick at Braun to try to get her to stop from attacking him. The man used his phone to record video of the altercation. Braun was arrested on a charge of domestic battery. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where she was initially held without bond. I guess my question would be, I would have asked him, I guess, do you take drugs? Otherwise, why would she even accuse him of that? See what I'm saying, Bern? See what I'm saying? Okay, how many holes in ones of golf did we get this week? Well, it looks like 3. Candy Fitzgerald got her first ever hole-in-one on Friday, December the 6th at the Live Oak Pitch and Putt in the Village. She scored the lucky ace at hole number 4. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one there, Candy. Barbara Tickner of the village of Hacienda North got her second hole-in-one on Saturday, December the 7th. She scored the lucky ace at 121 yards at hole number 5 at the Belmont Executive Golf Course. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Barbara. Villager David Whiteford was thrilled after getting his second hole-in-one. He scored the lucky ace at hole number 1 at 116 yards using a pitching wedge at Red Fox Executive Golf Course. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one there, David. Very first hole, and he gets a hole-in-one. I think I would say, I'm out. I'll meet you guys at the bar when you're done. I had to quit while I was ahead. So, let's do a couple letters to the editor. To the editor, I absolutely agree with Dana Olson. Enough of the bad parking photos. If the outcome was positive, RE, ticketing, or a written warning, then yes, continue. Otherwise, it's a joke. Same as speed limits on Morse Boulevard, Rio Grande Avenue, County Road 466, and County Road 466A. People totally ignore them. I agree with that. I live in a Courtyard Villa complex where a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit is posted. If I ask someone to slow down, I am given a mouthful of profanity. I have asked for help from the HOA, property management, and the Sumter County Sheriff's Office to no avail. Someone will seriously get hurt soon. That's sent in by Gillian Beck, the village of Rio Grande. I agree with everything you're saying. I live in a neighborhood here that's not new, but fairly new, and people don't pay no attention to speed limits, even in our neighborhood. I think the idea of the parking videos, or how bad they are, and parking on sidewalks, parking on crosswalks, it's a safety hazard, and it just brings light to it. And hopefully, somebody in charge, somebody that has the wherewithal or the power to do something, maybe a police chief, somebody will see some of these videos and decide, once in a while, drive through there and hand out a bunch of warnings and see if we can't make things a little better for somebody. I think one of the most offensive parking videos that I've seen, and I posted it also, was when that car or something was parked next to a handicapped van and a child was sitting in a wheelchair because he couldn't even get to the ramp to get in the van with his parents or mother or whoever else was there. To me, that's appalling. To me, that's a ticket offense. That is no warning. $500 fine. As far as I'm concerned. That's just my opinion. They could take it or leave it. But it does seem like they're not doing anything. I've heard several reasons why. One was it's considered to be private property, and they'd have to be called by the manager or whoever to come and take care of that. I don't believe any of that. I don't believe any of that at all. Because you go to a shopping complex, there might be 100 stores there. Well, each store has a manager. Each store is not going to call everybody. I'm saying it's a safety hazard. And as a safety hazard, I think the police departments has a duty to go in there and take care of this. My opinion. To the editor, I am in favor of relaunching the Multimodal Path Discussion Group, a village-wide approach to good safety. Marking on all the multimodal paths is needed, particularly at night. A golf cart driver should not see a degradation in the safety markings because they crossed a CDD boundary. For one example, an area south of Highway 44 has inferior markings on the multimodal path, and there is a steep downward slope to a retention pond. These poor MMP markings will eventually result in a bad nighttime incident and a potential lawsuit against the Board of Supervisors of that particular CDD. Residents should identify specific MMP safety problem areas and write letters to the villagesnews.com and the responsible CDD board on that MMP. This would be similar to the bad parking articles in the villagesnews.com. That's sent in by John Castura from the village of Belvedere. Well, John, the markings and everything that they're talking about, I'm not for that. I'll tell you right up front. CDD2 area and CDD3, I believe, or CDD5, they were the rogue ones that went ahead and did that at a very much large cost. Safety is an issue, but it also comes under personal responsibility. I mean, on curves, if I need to put in something, I'm more for the reflectors than I am painting the multimodal path because they're more permanent and they last for a heck of a lot longer than that paint does. You got to take on your personal responsibilities. I mean, if you know that you don't see well at night, then why are you out there? Well, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. This news here is going to the members again. I appreciate you members more than you'll ever know. I thank all of you very much for supporting our efforts here. I just want to say one last thing real quick. When we did a report, I think it was last week, about a 92-year-old couple with the air conditioner in their side of their window. I don't know if that was a bedroom or what it was. That bothered me for a long time. I kept saying, I don't know why neighbors just don't go over and knock on the door and ask them. Well, I just got to thinking about it. Why don't I do that? Well, I got a crew. You guys have been following me for a long time. You know the W&L crew. I talked to the girls and told them that I may have a job for each and every one of them. Yeah, you might say they volunteered. I said, if they need their house cleaned out, we're going to do it. If they need something done, I don't know what it is, but we're going to see about getting this thing taken care of. This guy goes back to World War II. As far as I know, he's a World War II vet. I don't know that for facts, but he could be. And it just bothered me. I just kept thinking about it. Well, Jose lives up in that area. So I got a hold of him and I said, hey, can you go over and knock on the door and find out what's going on over there? Do they need any help? Are they okay? I mean, I'm not guaranteed we could fix everything there. We could even do anything, but I'd like to know what's going on. So he goes over there, and the report I got, I took them all out for our W&L Christmas dinner. And I'm talking to him, and he gave me a complete report. And I don't want to get into it very much because it's a privacy issue thing, and it's not even my business. It's nobody's business. But just so you know, everything seems to be okay. His outdoor air conditioner, Jose reports, looks to be in really good shape. His golf cart looks to be in really good shape, parked under the carport there. And his yard seems to be mowed. Bushes seem to be trimmed. Everything looks okay. So we didn't disturb him, but we're going to keep an eye on him. So we did check it out. It seems to be okay. So I'm going to put this on a developer's doorstep too, and the district supervisors. You guys are really good about saying what somebody's doing is wrong, and if you don't get this thing fixed, by God, we're going to charge you $50 a day forever. Is that all you got to do? Is that all you can say? It seems like that's all you guys can do. Why don't you go over and knock on the door and say, is there anything we can do to help out? And I don't want to hear this crap saying, well, we're not allowed to do that. You're a human being. You are your own person. Anybody can go up there and knock on the door. I don't need permission from you, the police department, or the president of the United States. Rather, I can go up there and knock on that door and ask if there's anything we can do to help out. You guys are taking a chicken shit way out of here. If nothing else, how come you guys don't get together with your heads and say, whenever we have a problem like this, which is going to continue, we all are getting older. How come we don't have a system set aside to where we can push this over to so-and-so that has a group in every area, every district has this group. We'll push it over to them, give them the address and everything, and see if there's anything they can do to help. We don't have anything like that in place. Nothing. Unless people like Jose, me, my W&L group, take it upon ourselves to go up there and knock on the door. Seems ridiculous to me to be like that in
Florida's friendliest hometown.
With that being said, I hope everybody has a great Christmas. Hope you had a safe holiday if you had to travel. I hope everything came out okay with you and your family. Hope everybody in your family is safe and healthy. Hope you are safe and healthy. So with that, I'll just say, have a great new year. Be well, be safe, stay aware.
And don't leave your key